Welcome to episode 51 of Crosstown Cardboard with myself, Carmine at Carmine's Cards, and Craig at New York City Sports Cards. And this is our first episode of season 2. So, we had to come in throwing some haymakers. So we got a big time guest. And Craig, you know this guest. You got this guest for our program. And so it's only right that you introduce him.
Very happy to have this guest on. Even though we really haven't had the chance to chop it up too much, I still consider him a friend in the hobby. Retail Mafia, AKA ATL's finest, AKA Wizs the Collector. So Wiz, thank you for being here. How you feeling? How's the South treating you right now?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Love the South. I love the Southern hospitality, man, and I love the weather on top of that.
No doubt. So I am not someone who goes to a ton of shows, and the shows I do go to are typically in New York, but somehow, and this just shows the kind of hustle and hard work you put into this hobby, I ran into you at like 5 or 6 shows over the last couple of years. There was the New York City show when we had a major snowstorm, 2 nationals, Hofstra, and there's another one that I'm missing. So you are always out and about. So just talk about you love just traveling and going to shows and putting in the work and being out there and seeing different cities.
So the other show that we missing was I don't know if you said the East Coast National, the most recent East Coast National. I ran into you, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I ran into you in the basement, man. They had us in the basement out there in the New York City Nationals. It was actually, man, that was the first 2-floor show before Burbank, man. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. I don't know. I mean, the grind and the hustle and stuff like that, man, it's definitely necessary, man, for what it is in this space. People hit me up, and just recently someone hit me up like, man, they want to do the hobby full time and they want to go to shows and things like that. And what I tell them, man, the only advice I really can give, man, you got to buy in, man. You got to believe, and you got to take that leap of faith if that's what you want to do, and just go out there and do whatever it is. And for all the young dudes, at home, and I always tell people to analyze your worst scenario. If everything goes wrong, if you lost your job, you couldn't pay your rent, like what is your worst case scenario? And then capture that worst case scenario. And if it's not the worst thing in the world, if your worst case scenario is living in your mother's house in the basement after you tried to pursue your dreams, then I think that you should pursue your dreams.
First of all, let me just say I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Okay, I feel like Frank Gore, the jersey I'm wearing, with a two-handed carry right up the middle for 4 yards in being tackled by 5 people. But I couldn't agree more with that, Wiz, because, on a personal note, I'm doing the sports broadcasting thing like we, have talked about. And that involves moving out to the middle of nowhere, I mean, Casper, Wyoming was amazing. But I'm saying and it seems like just from that little bit of you talking, going out there and grinding and risking it and believing in yourself is what you have to do, because you can't just sit there. And we got very philosophical quickly, but that's good. You can't just sit there and wonder every single day, man, I wonder if I took that chance. I wonder if I tried that. I wonder if I had enough balls to do that. And how did you know that going full-time into cards that you had what it took to grind it out? Because like you said, you have to buy in.
Well, prior to cards, man, I used to I used to do cell phones. I used to buy, sell, trade and repair electronics. And I did that. I think I got into that probably when I was like 20 something years old. And by the time I was 24 years old, here in Ashford, Dunwoody, me, Prism God, and his cousin Christopher, Chris, we opened up our first business. We hired a secretary, and then we were holding classes, teaching people how to repair electronics and also buying them. So from there, like I've always, and then prior to that, by trade, I'm a barber. So like I don't know if you know anything about barbers, but you have to generate your own clientele. You have to go out, pass out flyers, give your cards to other people. So I'm what you would call like a self-starter. So like for me, it was easy to transition from what I've already been doing in life, as far as cell phones and things like that, working for myself, to then take an opportunity to do to do cards full time. Like I'm almost like kicking myself in the butt though that I was as far as what Ralph goes, like, he was doing cars when we were doing cell phones. But, it was like how people do it and they don't tell their friends they're doing it. I was kind of upset, like, dang, bro, like you've been holding this away from us forever. I could have bought LeBron's exquisites back then in the day. Every month I could have bought one card and just put it away, and it gave me something else to do. But that's how really the transition happened. So when he told me about it, and I was like, man, and then to be honest, I'm gonna back up some. So there's a dude passed away. He passed away. Shout out to Terry Doolin and his family. There's a dude named Terry and Jeremy. These two dudes from the South. And those are the first two people that we ever seen travel to do shows. They were only doing it on like a local level, like when I say locally though, like in the southern region. Like that was their local, hit those shows. We used to see them travel. So it was like, dang, let's go to the show. If they're going to the show, let's just go there so we can make it happen. And then Ralph, I think it was his idea to more so take it to the next level where it's like, man, let's just hit all the shows. Let's just keep going to shows. So, and that's how it happened.
So
for me.
Yeah, and for you, and everyone's different. Now, you do cards full time, as we talked about before we press record. What does that mean exactly? Because there are people who do cards full time and they're buying wax and selling it, or they're breaking. So how, without giving away too many of your own secrets, what are you specifically doing within the hobby to survive? To make money and to have fun as well.
Okay. Yeah. My thing is like this. To me, there is no secrets. Like the biggest secret is, man, working harder than the next man next to you, or waking up. The hardest thing for people to do is to wake up and continue to do the same thing, and do it at a high level. So like secrets, I'm cool with that because I would love to see anybody out here. I think it's enough for everybody to get. But what it consists of, man, is like, man, constantly. So I'll start with a Thursday. Like this week, Dallas. Thursday, I fly out to Dallas. My goal then is to be on time. Starting in this space, or even now, like I know that I don't have the most money or more money than everyone else, or if that's your issue. But what I can do is be the first person at the show and the last person out the show. What I can do is not let people outwork me. And when I say outwork me, is like I'm going to the show in the beginning of the show because I need to run into that dealer that's unsure of himself, that flew 3 hours away from his home. He's here. He doesn't know what he's going to do at the show. He doesn't know how many sales he's going to get. So a lot of times what I notice about dealers is when you go to a show, a lot of them are unsettled because they don't know what the weekend is going to bring. So they might give out that one good deal, that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 deal because they know if they make this deal, everything is solidified. They made a little bit of money. It covered their trip. It covered this. So I'm trying to be that guy. I'm trying to be the guy that walks up to him as he's putting the stuff out. He's like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm like, man, you know what? I'm here. I'm here to help you. Let's help each other. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like, and then after that, that's that. So then you continuously try to grind through the show. I think that you walk around and hit dealers. Some people are intimidated at dealers, man, but at the same time, dealers are human beings like us. And then this is a tip that I always use. If I can't get a good percentage from a dealer, then I'll then in return try to trade him inventory that I have, and we both can be at 100% of comps because I may be in these cards good. So if I trade him at 100%, let's just say I'm in 70% of the card, I'm still getting the deal done with 70%. He may feel mutual about that. So throughout the show, you do that. And then, you buy at the table, but also like when I'm coming home on on Sunday or Monday, I'm posting cards to Instagram. So people know that I have cards available. I'm also browsing, Alt, Golden, PWCC, eBay, looking for deals on those places. And then that's throughout the week. And then I'm also shipping, buying labels and shipping cards out and just trying to turn inventory over and also bring new cards that I could potentially, sell at the show.
That's a great plan. And I think a lot of people probably don't know it's that detail oriented when you really want to succeed with whatever it is. But with this, they might think, oh, this guy just looks on Instagram, buys a couple things. I mean, it's like a detailed work day that you go through. But I'll also say at the Burbank show, have you been to the Burbank show, Wiz? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I just left. Yep,
Okay, yeah. So when I was setting up at the Burbank show as a dealer, I was one of the dealers that was my first big show. And I had like 20 cards that I sold to Jacob at Contrast Cards. And It was like 70. He's like coming up, you want to I like a lot of stuff in your case. would you consider like 70%? And I was like, no, I was like bare minimum. I was like 75 to 80%. He's like, all right, so let's see what we can do. So we took out 20 cards, and I think it ended up being like 4,000 at like
Yeah.
75%. And for me, I broke even on a lot of them, but also I made big on a few. So on like a $4,000 deal, I came back with like 850. And I'm like, listen, he's happy. I'm happy. I got a lot of cash to see what I can make moves with at this
Mm-hmm.
big show at the trade nights, and ended up doing it. And also came back with so much money. I came back with like 14,000 in cash.
Mm. Mm.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not we be on we're honest about at least our own financial stuff. That is like three times what I had like in spending money for my regular life. So I'm like,
Yeah.
this is big time cash. So but I took like I tried to take the little wins, but in turn that gave somebody like you also, you know, a good situation. So how do you go about like taking the little victories versus trying to get a big hitter? You know what I mean? Is it like chipping away more so, and then once in a while you get a home run, but because Craig always says Tony Gwynn, try to
Tony
hit
Gwynn.
singles. He
Tony
said try
Gwynn
to
is
hit.
the recipe for success. Single
Yeah.
And
after
then try
single.
try to get on base. Yeah, like you said, try to get on base. I think I think that it's possible to hit the home runs, but like you said, man, you just chip away. You just take those small margins. But throughout the show, you're gonna run into different people because like like the space, the hobby is all like knowledge based. And it's like if you don't have the knowledge, like the multiplier of what a raw card does to a PSA 10 or a 9.5, or how you compare a number to 50 to a number to 49. It's so many different variables in the space that a person may be missing. And then that like, okay, this could like it's so many parallels and different subsets of rookie of the year contenders. It's like it's so easy for a person to be confused. And then it's like if you have the knowledge and if you're studying the database, like it's cards that I don't even buy. And when I go to shows, my friends were at the table, and I'm like, oh, the last comp is on that. Somebody could pull a card out, and coincidentally, I just been looking at this type of card all week, or these genre cards, and I may know just off the top of my head, and the person I see a price tag, and I might just know that that's just too cheap, or this is what they're doing, and I think that comes with experience in the space for me, just constantly studying numbers. Like I don't know, at this moment, I feel like I couldn't, if I wanted to, I couldn't be like, I just want to drop social media. I don't want to be on there because it's part of my job. Like eBay also is part of my job. So I'm constantly on there, like data researching, and I'm more of like I guess you could say a data nerd because I'm like, I'm on there, not more than some people I know, but I'm on there though.
Sounds like you like numbers and math. You are in good company.
Man, I'm gonna say that I suck at math, but I do enjoy the numbers. I enjoy data. To me, history was always my favorite subject. So data to me is kind of like it's the history of the space. Like this history of space is taken by numbers. I don't know if that makes sense. But
Yeah,
Listen,
that's a
you could
great
say
explanation.
you're not good at math maybe, but you have to be somewhat competent to be able to have a conversation, think about the numbers in your head, work the percentages. So give yourself a little bit more credit in your mathematical intellect.
no, that's definitely true. I appreciate that, Craig.
Let me ask you this because I've talked to Carmine about this. I am so curious about people who do cards full time. Just throwing a scenario out there. You buy a card for 500, you sell it for 600. Teddy likes what we're talking about here. You make $100 profit. Is what percentage of that $100 profit goes back into cards, or goes to rent, or goes to travel expenses, or maybe you invest in stocks on the side? I am always so curious. People who do this full time, it can't all go into cards. There's life expenses to pay for. So if you want to just speak on that a little bit, I'm genuinely curious.
All right, so like last year, so I have an accountant, for cards or whatever. So my accountant has access to my business account. So last year I spent approximately about $20,000 on plane flights, and that was 20,000 that just went to plane flights.
Wow.
So this year, Frontier offered a service. If you don't have this, it's called the Go Wild Pass. I paid them $800 last year. and it didn't start till May or April, something like that. And now I'm eligible to catch flights for $15 one way and $15 the other way. They still got to pay for luggage and stuff like that. So like that right there. So in my mind, right, I'm like, I already know I spent 20,000 on flights last year. So if I can now pay $30 to go, bro, it cost me to go to Burbank. It cost me $15 to get there, and then I flew back with Delta, which cost me $126. I had credits or whatever. So I took a round trip to California for less than $200. So stuff like that. Like, so now this year that puts extra dollars back into my pocket to invest back into my business. But to answer your question is like, man, and I can't speak for anybody else. For me, man, like my boys say, man, I'm gritty, man. I only know how to be gritty. So it's like, don't get it. So it's kind of like balls, or it was before. It was kind of like balls to the wall, man. Like, I mean, things are going to work themselves out. That's how I look at it. You know, if it was a card that I needed to get, well, I felt like it was a margin that I could have made, or let's just say, because let's say you hit singles all month, and now it's coming up to whenever you got to pay your bills and stuff like that. But the home run is right there. It's like, do you pass the fastball coming down the plate? You know what I'm saying? For the single, when you know that you can smack it out the park. So it's kind of like I feel like a lot of it goes back into the business, but it's like for me, I'm seeking the rewards now. You know what I'm saying? As I put the work in, I'm seeking the rewards. It was like before, it's kind of like I had to stay humble and just, you know, do what it is that I need to do. I was thankful that you know, my rent and things like that, I would put that in consideration, but I would try to pay that early. So the next month I don't have to worry about that, and I can more so focus on my bills. Like if I hit that home run and I got rent due, I would try to pay the next month. So next month I'm clear to go ahead and just focus on just this 100%. And then I'll come back out of it the next month. Like I got to do this and I got to do that. And I would just sort it out that way. I don't know if that answers the question. There is no, like, now that I have an accountant, then there's things that I can work on, but before then it wasn't like a strategic thing for me to be like, well, I'm gonna do this and this percentage got to go there. I think that and I'm not suggesting that for anybody. I think sometimes you can overthink things, and if you overthink things, then you're not going to necessarily do things. Like I said, it's a belief system and doing something for yourself. Like if I do this, I have to believe that it's going to come back around and be able to do what it is that I have to do. And I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, bro.
No, that's exactly what it's for. That's exactly what the podcast is for. And you're dropping bombs right now with the knowledge. So I'm wondering, because I mean, even if you're just listening, you can hear the get up and go in your voice to make something happen. You know, where does that come from as far as upbringing, or like, why do you think? I mean, because you know, a lot of people don't have that. So why do you think that you're able to have that as part of, you know, what you do?
Well, I feel like I don't know. I think it was like a collection of things. Because when I was in high school, I wanted to be a correction officer. Like because like being from New Jersey, like I wanted to be a correction officer because I feel like coming out of high school, you know, I didn't really like believe. Like I mean, college was cool, but I don't know. It was like things that happened to me. I was more like a free thinker. I was like, I might not necessarily need college to go ahead and like if I could be a correction officer and don't go to college and make $70,000 a year coming out of high school, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. I'm like 70,000 guaranteed with no. So I'm like, there's got to be other stuff out there that can make me do that. So I was a barber, like I said, and the barber is a self-starter. And I chose it like I went to school, college, community college, and I cut hair because I was like, man, I need some money while I'm in school because school is full time. If I become a barber, then I could just go to people's house, cut their hair, you know, be at work on certain days. It's more flexible. And then one day I read a book by Timothy Ferriss, and it was called 4 Hour Work Week. And he breaks down the book that about rich people and about new rich, and he breaks down like the prices of what it costs to lease a Lamborghini instead of buying a Lamborghini. Talks about how much it costs to stay in a 4-star hotel in Brazil, which is like $760. Like he was saying that you don't necessarily want to become a millionaire or become rich. It was like because you could spend a lot of time doing that. When people say they want to become a millionaire, what they're really saying is that they want to be free from what it is they're doing, and they want to be able to do what it is that they want to do when they want to do it. And Timothy Ferriss' book was explaining that you don't have to become a millionaire to free yourself. All you have to do is set up a system to be able to free yourself. So in my mindset, I've been trying to do that since I was 20-something years old. And through this space, I think that I'll be able to do that to when I say free myself, is put other people in the position that I am and potentially pay them so that I can live the life that I want, whether I have 100,000, 200,000, or $70,000 a year. And I just feel like the freedom is more so what I'm after, and freedom of just working a regular job and being stuck in one spot.
So why do you feel like cards is the space to make that freedom happen for yourself? Like, I'm sure you were considering potentially other things, like with the cell phones and the barber deal. So why did cards end up being the avenue that you feel like you could make that happen, that freedom?
Well, first and foremost, like walking into cars in the car space, man, the people in this hobby, in this car space, is unmatched. First and foremost, like I've never met so many beautiful people in my life. And that's just being God honest. Like I always got, I feel like the rough end or the rough side or the side of people that I potentially didn't like. But I feel like in this space, man, it's so much love, and it's so many, like, I don't know. I feel like the hobby is like all the and this is not the greatest term, but all the rejects of the world come to the hobby to love each other. Like all the people that haven't been loved by other people, they come to this space to be loved by each other. So that's the love that I get from this space. But at the same time, I seen that, they always said, like, in order to make large sums of money, you need multiple streams of income. And like coming into the car space, I seen the breaking, the repacks, the buying the cards, selling the cards, buying the wax, selling the wax, opening the wax. It's like 10 different, like even grading cards, being a middleman for grading, prepping cards, wiping cards down. It's so many things you could do in this space to make money. So it's like you can generate those multiple streams of income and not have to continue to absorb more knowledge. Like if you were in the regular world, you need to know about cars, you need to know about restaurants, you need to know about this, you know about that, to have those streams of income. But to be in the space, all you need to know is the space, and because these are the things, these 7 things, you already do this every day just to participate. So if you became, if you got in the space, bro, and you just wanted to do those things, you would already know them, because you've been wiping your cards down, you've been grading your cards, you've been watching breaks on whatnot or whatever, you've been participating, you've been opening packs, and you've been going to the show to sell your card, and you've been trying to get a deal on that card you've been looking at all week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those are 5 different things that you already doing to participate. So I just feel like, man, I just feel like it's right here in front of you.
Carmine, you think was passionate about this or what?
I think we can safely say we got a good guest for season 2, episode 1 to kick it off.
I apologize.
No, this is
great.
great.
No, that's great.
But let's not forget your username, Wizs the Collector.
Yeah, for sure.
Collector being the word I want to talk about here. So if we're just geeking out about cardboard for a second, do you have a personal collection of stuff that you're not necessarily buying to flip, but you're buying because you think it's a card that's a great investment, or maybe it's just a team or player that you collect? So like our friend Cousin Oz, he's part of the Cousins Collectibles podcast. He makes a great point. He says if he goes over to your house, your collection should say something about you.
Wait, hold on. Hobby elitist Oz.
Oh yeah,
that's what he's going by.
But
no, he's not.
Do you have stuff that you collect for yourself? Collect or invest, or I like to say a hybrid of both.
I'm gonna show you both sides right now, right quick. So let me see it. My box is right here. Let me see if I can find the card. So all right, hold on. I'm trying to find it.
I'll cancel out
I liked Oz's point, by the way, about how your collection shows your personality. So I'm interested to see what Wiz has got here.
So for me, like I do like the autos. I like rapper autos, stuff like that. Like I got Ice Cube auto. Man, I have Satchel Paige. He's not a rapper, but I have
he's not a rapper.
I have Spike Lee. I have a Spike Lee auto. I have Damon John, the creator of Fubu auto. But like these are cards. Man, I own Gucci Man's auto. I own Big Boy's auto. I got Bernie Mac dual patch from Americana. 2-1 patches in his auto from him, one of the greatest comedians ever. I just named my daughter Ziggy. So, this weekend I seen a Ziggy Marley autograph. So, I had to get that and throw that in the PC. I had to get this, and then and I'll show you then on the investing side, because I do, dibble and dabble at little investments, so then Zach Wilson, man, he had a nice few games. So I picked up his Prism Gold, because I feel like it's already at the bottom. Right now, it can only go up. It's only upside on this card. So I mean, to be able to pick up his biggest card, which at one point in time this card sold for anywhere between $12,000 to $16,000. You know what I'm saying? So to pick this card up for under $1,000, you know what I'm saying? You got it. You have to do that and just sit on it, man. Next year, Zach Wilson, because man, just I don't know the investing part. You know, Aaron Rodgers was in front of Jordan Love. Then Jordan Love, his stuff sells. So I'm hoping that Aaron Rodgers has the same effect on the Zach Wilson market. Calling it, we call that play the Aaron Rodgers effect.
I mean, the hobby is it is funny how
that should be a chapter. That should be a chapter of this podcast episode.
The
Aaron Rodgers effect, just that one lesson.
Is all you need is Zach Wilson to have one moment within the next year or 2 years, and boom, you know it's a strike. But hey, so your daughter's name is Ziggy, and you picked up a Ziggy Marley autograph Allen Ginter card.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, that's amazing. That's the kind of card you keep forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's where my PC goes. Like, I usually don't like I don't consider PCing something if you're investing in it. To me, that's just me. Like PC, like man, those are things that I love, the things that I watched when I'm growing up. Like I have all the autos to everybody that was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air except for Will Smith, because he doesn't have a pack pulled auto. But I have all their autos, like because I can remember being a kid and just watching stuff and being so influenced by shows like that.
Do you have a Jeffrey the Butler auto?
I don't. Hold up. I don't have that.
He was my favorite guy on the show. I'm not gonna lie. Uncle Phil was great. He had the life lessons. Will was obviously the star. Carlton had the dance that everybody loved. But Jeffrey's wit and his cutting comebacks.
No, for sure. And it's crazy. I even secured the Ant Viv. So it's like I
secured the Ant Viv.
I did. I secured the Ant Viv, and I can't. Now I'm on the hunt. I need Jeffrey's auto. See, now you got me back.
Put it out there, and it'll happen.
You know what, though, Wiz, that I think is interesting about making the move for the Zach Wilson gold is because I feel like, and I don't prospect very much, but like I recently got this Joe Burrow, his select tie-dye rookie.
Yeah,
it's premier level, but at a 25, as you know, with the tie-dye. And I feel like a key point when doing the prospecting deal is to get the right card too. You know what I mean? Or one of the right cards. Cause like you're not getting a Zach Wilson, absolute RPA.
Yeah.
You're getting like his, top 1% or top tier of a rookie card. And that's because correct me if I'm wrong, but the margins on those when he plays well are going to be exponentially higher than the margin on a low grade product.
That's true. I think that I do think that like the Chronicles RPAs or whatever those lower end plays, I think you have to buy a lot of those. But I do agree, like when a player first starts getting hot, people want to find the bigger cards so that their profits can be, something way up here when it's time for them to sell. So I definitely get that. And while prices are cheap, man, I think that if you see that stuff, man, you should potentially buy it. I'm not saying that buy Zach Wilson or nothing like that, but I'm just saying like where the market is at today and where its prices used to be, all I'm saying is it's a couple high rollers that are at home holding the bag. So if they holding the bag, and like you said, if he starts to look good, these people, they potentially might like sell their big stuff or potentially want to buy more of his big stuff as he's playing well to go ahead and level out on the investments that potentially they're losing on. It's a little game. It's just a little game. It's a little bit.
You got to have a little fun and roll the dice.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I traded was at the National. I made a prospecting play and I traded a Jack Nicklaus true rookie 1971, like the little card from a London tobacco company.
Yeah.
But first card he was printed on, and I traded that for a Trevor Lawrence XRC rookie auto out of 99. And I was like, but how much more liquid is that Trevor Lawrence, to move like that Jack Nicklaus? Hardly anybody's going to, at a $1,500 range.
Yeah.
So I feel like, like, how do you try to trade or get your way out of losses or get your way out of stale cards, for somebody who's trying to do that?
Well, first we're gonna deal with the losses, man. I feel like, man, my personal opinion, man, do not prolong the losses. If it's a loss, it's a loss. Get your money and turn that money into more money. Do not sit on the car forever because you lost, waiting for it to go up. Because the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months you're waiting for this car to go up, you could have took that money and potentially turned it into what that was supposed to be and made more with that money. That's one thing with that. And then also trading other cars, man. Like I feel like my goal, if you have a lot of cards and there's certain cards you want to get rid of, when you go to these tables, do not pull all your inventory out. Just pull out the cards that you're willing to part ways with or the ones that you want to part ways with. You give people more choices, they'll start going after your good cards. And now you're trading away stuff that you wanted to hold when you could have just showed people, these couple cards. Or and shout out to Carmine. Carmine said something similar to this on another platform. He said that take the cards that you want to trade night. Which I think is another avenue, man. Do not at the end of the show, man, do not miss trade night, because now you're dealing with people that are walking around the show that are now displaying their cards, and they're dealing with you on a one-on-one level. People who never came to your table, didn't know you were there. Now you get to deal with them, and they may be a little bit easier to trade with than a dealer.
And we love trade nights because it's just level playing field for everyone.
That's true.
And I'll even take that one step further, Wiz, and you tell me what you think. When, like, I had, let's say at the National, I had all my tradable cards, but some nicer stuff. And as far as feel, I feel like you can get a feel for what level of card the other person has, and then you decide what level of cards you want to pull out to possibly trade. Because, like, if I got a PC item, then I'm bringing everything to try to get that card in my collection. But if it's like, a so-so card that I could live without, then I'm going to bring the cards out to trade that I could live without. So I feel like it's matching the intensity level of, how bad do you want that card?
Nah, that's very true. That's very true. And the way for me with trading, the way I look at trading is, I don't know, it's just like you said, leveraging, like I said in the beginning, like leveraging whatever you pay for that card to get another card, potentially at a higher value than your card. And I feel like, man, you could use things like use the word trade values, imaginary value. I'm putting on your cards, because you want to trade it. If your card is more liquid than the card that you're trading into, then a person potentially would agree that they would have to give you more trade value. So then when you take their card, you didn't have more equity into their card because they gave you trade value, which may have been $200-$300 on the back end, or even $50-$20 trade value. And now you're going into a card, you may have been good in that card, and now you're going into the next card with extra equity into it just because you asked them for trade value.
The never-ending cycle. Just
for sure.
The party continues. Now, you being from Atlanta, your guys, Ralph, Prism God, Chris, does he have an Instagram handle?
Chris's Instagram handle is Get Rich or Die Flipping.
Love that. So
that's great. We just did a 50 Cent themed episode on our last episode.
Oh yeah, you got it.
That's crazy.
I mean that's just perfect timing.
But Atlanta, I think at this point, when you think of Atlanta and the hobby, you got to think of Culture Collision, which I know I know that's Ralph's brainchild. Are you a part of that process of setting it up and everything? Do you help him out with that at all?
In the first show, because he was my friend, saying he is my friend. So it's like, anything a friend can do for another friend with anything. I think when he first was trying to get the show off the ground, it was just like we, all as a collective, like me, Mike, Mr. Get In and Flip It, Chris, Get Rich or Die Flipping, and myself, we just wanted to see him succeed. So, we'll pass out flyers, go to shows. If he's not there, we'll have some flyers set up with the Culture Collision brand and things like that. But as a whole, though, no, that's his situation. The first show I helped him, set people up, set them to the door. It's the same thing I could do, man, because I was super grateful that, without him, man, it would be no Wizs, and he doesn't slight as far as the work that I do or the work ethic that I put into this. That's all me. But, he was or he is a mentor for all of us that, that set up with him and sit around him. He's super knowledgeable. And through him is another guy that passed away named Jesse. Jesse was a big time collector. So to answer the question, is no. But as far as the Coach Collision brand, like I'm working on other things inside of the Coach Collision brand that has nothing to do with the show. So I mean, I still, I guess, fall under that umbrella. But as the show goes, no, I'm not. I'm not involved in that.
Because I think you've been to enough shows at this point where you see what the demographic is predominantly white males. Is that fair to say?
For sure, for
So
sure.
do you, I mean, are you guys having these conscious conversations like, wow, you guys are pioneers in this space? I mean, like a black man leading one of the biggest card shows in the country, I just think years ago was something you wouldn't have heard of. And you guys are out
No.
here showing, we talk a lot about diversity on the show. You guys are going out here showing that an underrepresented community within the hobby can excel. I don't know if you're just out there doing your thing or if you guys are having these conversations that
Yeah,
They're sitting around. They're sitting around. There's a lot of white guys out here, man.
Yo, nah, Craig. Man, I love the question, bro. I love the level of questioning, man. I feel like that's something super deep, man. I think that we do notice that. I told you before this. We used to do phones at a high level, so you can only imagine like you never seen a group of black people do phones either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one day when Ralph did his first show, I said to him, I walked up to him and I said, bro, man, we just made history 2 times in 1 decade. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's all of us collectively. And I said this to someone the other day, and I shared something really personal, man. When I first got into cards, I never thought or set out to be, a pioneer. I never thought of it that way until, I would get DMs from people that look like me. And it's like, bro, man, I love what you're doing, man. I used to collect cards as a kid, man. I never was that, but I appreciate what you're doing, man. I appreciate the representation. So when you start getting stuff like that, man, you start looking at it differently. And you start looking at it differently, man. It's like, damn, bro. Am I a pioneer for the space, man? I do believe that it's young kids that look like me that get inspired, or people that's younger than me, or anybody. I don't know if you ever seen the interview that we did for collectible app. I was at not this national, but the national before that, one AC, and a dude walked up to me, man. He was like, man, he was like, yo, that interview was so dope, man. You guys remind me of the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was 3 of us inside of one interview just bouncing off each other. So I think that's dope to inspire people like that, man, and other minorities or people who feel underrepresented in this space, man. I think that's dope, man, letting them know that, you could do this too. But like I mentioned in the beginning too, man, I think the journey has been easier or easy because it's people like you guys or even Craig, are willing to address the elephant in the room when some people try to act like these things are not real, don't exist, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely appreciate that. But like I said, though, too, bro, with every negative person, it's to me 10, 20 positive people, man. And when I go to these shows, man, the positivity and the level of positivity that I receive from so many people, man, it's super beautiful. And like I said, I think that this space has a way of because the space is ran on like old school rules where your integrity, like doing deals, getting vouchers, like you're only as good as your name in the space. So I think it has a way of weeding those douchebags and those low level people out of the space because like people that if you believe that you're smarter than someone because of your outer appearance or you believe that you're better than someone your outer appearance, I would think that some of your other morals and core beliefs are out of pocket too. So I feel like this space has a way of weeding people out like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we are playing with pieces of cardboard. So let's not, everybody get off their high horse. We're all just trying to have fun here. Maybe make a little money.
Right.
But what if they're really cool cards?
I gotta keep the cool cards. I gotta keep.
Let me ask you this, Wiz. I just wanted to bounce this off you with because I recently said that one of these cards was my favorite cards, and just from the collection flavor that you showed, I'm interested to see what you think would be your favorite. Okay. I got the 1980
that's tough.
Topps Bird Magic Dr. J, all signed. That's the key part, though. PSA 5 with a 10 auto.
Okay.
And I got both these at National also, this past National. And this one is a flawless Larry Bird patch auto 1 of 1.
Okay. So which one do I like?
Yeah.
All right, so I like, to be honest, I like the triple, you know what I'm saying? Because like that's an iconic card, bro. And then to have all of their autos, like I see those every once in a while. Like I see that card without the autos I'm not gonna say a lot, but I see it enough. But with the autos, I definitely don't. And I think like that's a collective, even though they're not pack pooled or anything like that. But at that time, there was no way to get those pack pooled. So I think that card withstands the test of time. The other card, I think that's like a Panini National Treasures or Flawless, one of the two.
Yeah, flawless, one of one. Yeah.
Yeah, so and it looks great, but I just feel like because of what that card means, the triple, what that card means to this space, it's like I think it would be like Jordan would be one of the most iconic cards, and I think that that card you pull, the triple auto, has to at least be like top 5, top 8 of most iconic cards in the space.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's the one I went with too.
Okay, okay,
That was
okay.
the one I decided. Even though I'm a big bird guy, but I'm just so interested when I like other people's style to hear what they would think. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's all good.
Craig, what do
Wiz,
you got?
we'll wrap it up here soon. I want to know your biggest flip. Real simple
Oh,
question.
Oh man, like value or what it was.
Both. I purchased the card at National for $450 and I sold it for $1,000 2 hours later. So just I mean, you can't beat
Jude
those
Bellingham, right? Jude Bellingham, one of one.
Those are always the best flips. I mean, man. I mean, bro, I purchased the car before for $8,000 and sold it for 18,000 before. It took a month to do it, but I've done that before, man. I purchased, man.
What was it?
I purchased. It was a LaMelo Ball Mosaic 1 of 1. In Dallas, I posted it. It was a PSA 9. I paid $8,000 for it, and then I sold it for 18,000. Probably like a month later, to someone. Actually, they were local in Georgia. They really wanted it, and then, man. Then I guess, man, it's been other flips, man. Sometimes, man, like you said, I'm just trying to really hit singles, man. I might catch a card and pay, value it at $2,000, pay 1,600 for it, and somebody give me $2,500 for the card, and that's like, to me that I think those are better, man. They're more consistent than those super gigantic flips. Like you said, man. I'm just trying to get on base, Craig. I'm just trying to get on base.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
That's the advice.
Man, that's my next shirt, man. I'm going to make a shirt say Tony Gwynn. Just try and get on base.
That's one of our catchphrases. I feel like we should get that in one of our bios with Tony Gwynn. But
I should just make the shirt and send it to Craig, man. I'm gonna make you that shirt, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna start wearing that. What does it mean? Like, if you know, you know. That's it.
Yeah.
That's great. And how about the biggest card that you've sold dollar wise? Not profit, but because I'd imagine there's I'm sure there's fewer and fewer buyers. The higher value you go.
Man.
I mean, 8,000. How many people can spend 18,000 on a LaMelo Ball? But
man, nah, I definitely agree. I don't know. I'm gonna just say this, man. I own a card right now that let me see. I own a card right now that I am trying to get, and you probably seen it already. Oh, I own a card right now, a T-Law Prism Gold. I would like to get $25,000 for this card. I'll take a little bit less cash, but at the same time, I'm asking $30K trade. So, I mean, potentially that may be one of the bigger cards that, I moved and I'll receive. And like those type of things, like even that card, man, it just shows where the growth is at, man. I can remember first coming into this space, and these are cards that I was buying. Like, this is Jamar Chase rookie auto. So, those type of things, man. You sit back, man, and we start thinking like, dang, man, look at my growth, man. I can remember coming into space, man, like not even having enough to buy a whole case of Prism, like that was on the shelf. So just like today to be able to, grow in the space, man, and make so many connections and meet so many beautiful people, man. I don't know, man. It's great, man. Like, sometimes people try to remind me, like, dang, bro, but you could get more love from the corporate. You can get more love from these people doing this and that. And I tell people all the time, like, man, shit, I could be doing construction too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, at the end of the day, man, sometimes you just got to make the best of whatever it is going on around you, man. And I'm truly thankful and grateful, man, to even, know Craig, man, to meet you, Carmine, man. And, one day, man, chop it up and have a beer with you guys, man, and go from there, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be great. But how much more valuable, let's say you were loved more in the corporate world but you were being loved with money. But how much more valuable? I mean, all three of us do jobs that we're passionate about, and excited for and feel like makes a difference. How much more valuable would you say that is, Wiz, than going after something for, maybe quite a bit more money, but that doesn't give you that fulfillment?
Well, but when you say right corporations, like what do you mean? Like for them to offer me a job?
Yeah, like if you were working there, like it's not going to be the same personal relationships as cards. It's going to be more motivated by money, most
Yeah,
likely,
yeah.
as
No,
far as the reward you're going to get.
no. I get that. I get that. I mean, I think that man, people who go to shows every weekend or whatever, I think that the money is what motivates them too. I think that money motivates all of us. I mean, but it's like in order to be a collector, man, you gotta somewhat be able to afford what it is that you're collecting. If you're a true collector, like you said, the Ziggy Marley, man, that's why even on my Instagram, man, I do something called or I used to, or I still do, or I'm slacking on. It's a segment on my Instagram called PC Tuesdays, and I try to showcase cards in my PC that I are in my PC, and it's like I intentionally try to find cards that's affordable for everyone else. Like the Ziggy Marley, I paid $100 because I feel like this space sometimes has a way of making people feel like if they don't have expensive cars, they're not true collectors, or they're not genuine to this space, or they're not for this space. So I try to showcase cars that are not super expensive to let people know that, man, like I can afford a $25,000 car. You know what I'm saying? But I chose to buy a $150 car because that's the car that I love.
Well, since it is, I don't have it in front of me, but it being Tuesday, my PC Tuesday, I picked up a $30 card last week. It was a Hank Greenberg game used piece of the bat. Myself being of Jewish faith, Hank Greenberg being of Jewish faith, and went to World War II. There's a perfect example. $30 is a card that means something to me. We're collectors at the end of the day.
No, that's real, and it's crazy you said that because in my PC too, I have a used patch. It's a Panini card, and it's a used patch from a general in the Tuskegee Air Force. You know what I'm saying? I have that, and then I also have a used patch from a regiment called the Hellfighters, who fought in World War II. And what's even crazier about that, my great grandfather was in World War II, and he was a part of the Hellfighters. You feel me? So like I'm with you right there, bro. So and that's what I'm saying when I see stuff like that. It's like, bro, how could I ever come around to sell something like that?
That's what I mean. It's like you could maybe like that Hank Greenberg, right? I could sell that, maybe make $10 on it. What's more valuable, having that card that means something, or the 20-30% that I can make on it? So I feel you there.
Man, the card, man, it's dope, bro. That's dope.
Craig, I wanted to give you a shout out also because you're talking about your PC items that are, not super expensive but meaningful. Because Craig sent me a little gift in the mail that he didn't say what it was, and I open it up and it's a Larry Bird like mini action figure and a JJ Redick trilogy rookie card.
Let's go.
And this is gonna go right on my desk though. This is gonna,
Yeah. Well, that's
If
the
you
love,
ever,
though.
that is like hobby advice. If you ever receive a gift from someone in this hobby of card, that is bad karma if you ever trade or sell that card.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Now, if
Nah,
you're saying the deal was a gift, that's different. If the deal, they give you a great deal, it's a gift. But if it's wrapped up and under the tree, no, you can't.
no, it's bad. Nah, and that's happened to me before, though. Somebody's walked up to me and gave me a Carl Lewis autograph because Carl Lewis in my PC. Carl Lewis is from Willingboro, New Jersey, where I'm from. So the high school in my community is called Carl Lewis High School. Um, it's definitely. And then we walked up and gave it to me, man. It definitely was special to me, man. Craig, don't you correct me if I'm wrong? Don't you run a program in New York?
Yeah. So the high school that I teach at, it's just an after school club, card club.
Okay.
Actually, I have one student who graduated 2 years ago who's still out on Instagram making deals.
That's what's
And
up.
he recently sold a couple cards to a good friend of ours, Cards by Joe on Instagram. So to see my former students, I mean, granted, there's only so many of them that are still doing it, but I
Yeah.
taught them enough of the skills that they can go out on their own and do it. And I've seen videos of you on Instagram educating the youth as well. So I see you.
Yeah,
And I know you take the time to help the kids, and that says a lot about you.
Man, Craig, man, if we could set something up, bro, I would love to fly out there, man, and just talk to them about the space, and just any questions they have or anything like that, man. I would love, man, and man, it's on me. If you get a date, man, I would love to just come out, man, and help, man, and potentially, man, bring some packs of cards, man, to give to kids, man. All on me, bro. I would love to give back. I feel like, man, I took so much from this space that I got to give it back in some way.
That'll be amazing. And when we start that back up in a couple months, I'm gonna hit you up.
And I appreciate that for sure.
But hey, listen, thank you for spending almost an hour with us. We just like getting to know and having our audience get to know more people in the space, and you're a real one, so we appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you having me here, bro. Like, man, I had a great time, man. I appreciate the questions, man. And even for me to get to know you players, you fellas, you know what I'm saying, a little bit better, man. Man, Carmine's, I haven't seen you in the field yet, man. You're not active enough, bro. You're not out here, man. Yo, Craig, man.
I know. I need to get more. I need to get more active. I need to get out to. You know what though? Culture Collision. Now that I'm in South Carolina, it's only 2.5 hours away.
So Carmine, I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Now we got a challenge on the airwaves, Wiz. Now we got a challenge. Nah,
man, and then
when's the next one? When's the next one?
The next Culture Collision is January 26th through the 28th. At the Renaissance Wavery across the street from the Braves Stadium. Like I said, man, you guys come out here, man. We can go across the street, man. I'll get you guys some good hot wings, man. Atlanta is known for their hot wings. So you guys come out, man. We go across the street, man. And we can sit down, chop it up, have a beer, man, and eat some wings, bro.
Oh, we got him. Now we got my wife's dad still lives in Atlanta, so I'm trying to double up. We visit the in-laws. We go to Culture Collision.
Oh,
so
man.
Make this happen.
Perfect. That's perfect.
That's even better. Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. But yeah, thank you, Wiz. You dropped a lot of knowledge and came from a hungry and motivated and caring place. So we definitely appreciate you coming on the episode.
Nah, I appreciate you guys too, man. Yo, I'm out of here, bro. Thank you guys for having me, bro.
All right, peace.